Boost your English.
From English Podcast with John.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English Podcast with John. Thanks for joining us today. In this episode, we're talking about why discipline often beats motivation and how this mindset can help you stay consistent. We're here to make your English practice simple, relaxed, and enjoyable. Hey there, how you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing really well, thank you. And you?
I'm great. I am so excited about what we're talking about because it's something I think about all the time,
Oh, me too.
especially, trying to start new habits.
I agree. This topic is just perfect for anyone trying to learn English or really anything new. It gets right to the heart of why we sometimes quit things after a really good start.
I know. It's all about finding that secret sauce for long-term success. But before we get started, just a quick reminder to everyone listening. If you enjoy our chat today, please remember to subscribe, like the episode, and share it with someone else who might find it helpful.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Thank you so much to everyone who does that. We really, really appreciate it.
We really do.
Okay, so let's start with that first initial spark. Motivation. It's this beautiful, exciting feeling when you first decide, I'm going to practice English. There's all this enthusiasm, this promise of fluency. What's your favorite part of that motivated feeling when you're starting a new project?
Oh, that's a great question. For me, it's that rocket launch of initial excitement. It's almost pure potential. You feel like you can do anything.
Yes.
I remember when I decided to learn the guitar. I mean, I was all in. I watched hours of videos. I practiced until my fingers hurt for about a week.
A week, huh? Sounds familiar.
Yeah, the motivation was just massive. But it was also, well, it was temporary. Did you find that motivation often shows up for you right after you see something inspiring, like a movie or a story?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. And that's exactly the pitfall, isn't it? It connects motivation directly to inconsistency. It's like relying on the weather. You just can't control when it's going to show up.
You really can't.
I used to have this habit of waiting for the perfect feeling to study. I'd tell myself, okay, I'll do it when I feel really focused and motivated. Days would go by.
Right. And then you feel guilty for not doing it, which makes you even less motivated.
Exactly. It's this vicious cycle. You end up burning out or just quitting because it stops being fun, and you were relying on it being fun.
That's it. So motivation might get you to, say, download the language app or buy the book, but it's not going to get you through the really difficult grammar points or the boring repetition you need to do to actually learn.
When do you think motivation usually fails the most when you're working on a long-term goal?
I think it's that moment when the novelty wears off. The first few days are exciting because it's new, but then reality hits. You realize, wow, this is actually hard work. That's when motivation just vanishes.
Yeah, it packs its bags and leaves.
So if motivation is the unreliable friend who only shows up for the parties, what's the alternative? This is where discipline comes in. Exactly. This is the engine. Can you sort of define how you see discipline in contrast to motivation?
For me, discipline is just the commitment to a process. It's an action you take regardless of how you feel. It's just showing up. That's the key focus.
I love that, showing up.
Yeah, it's like brushing your teeth. I mean, you don't wait to feel motivated to do it. You don't ask yourself, am I inspired to brush my teeth today? No, you just do it. It's automatic.
It's just part of the routine. It's non-negotiable. And that's such a powerful shift in mindset. I had this moment where I realized that a small, consistent action on a day where I had zero energy was actually way more valuable than a huge burst of effort and then nothing.
Oh, 100%.
Oh.
The small wins are everything.
I started doing just 10 minutes of language practice a day, just 10. And some days it felt impossible, but doing that consistently day after day was so much more effective than my old method of, studying for 3 hours on a Saturday and then forgetting everything by Tuesday.
That is so true. So how do you start forcing yourself to be disciplined when the whole idea of it just feels so hard and maybe even a little boring?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I think the key is that discipline doesn't actually have to be painful.
Okay.
It's about setting up your environment for success. And more importantly, it's about reducing the size of what you need to do.
Reducing the friction.
Yes, exactly. So instead of telling yourself, I have to study for 2 hours, you just say, I'm just going to listen to one English sentence. That's it.
Just one sentence.
Just one. Because making that first step incredibly tiny makes it so much easier for discipline to take over. Your brain doesn't even have time to argue about it.
I love that. It's like you're tricking your brain. You do the tiny thing, and often that little bit of momentum carries you into doing a little bit more. But even if it doesn't, you still won. You showed up.
You still won. That's the victory. You kept the promise to yourself. Have you ever used a routine or a habit stack to build discipline?
Oh, definitely. I think it's the most powerful tool. For me, it was linking my English practice to making my morning coffee.
Ah, classic.
It is. I decided while the coffee is brewing, I'm not allowed to look at my phone. I have to listen to a short English news update, just for those 3 or 4 minutes.
That's brilliant.
And after a while, my brain just started to connect the two things. The smell of coffee became the trigger to switch into English mode.
Yeah.
It became automatic.
It's like your brain gets tricked into thinking the practice is just part of the coffee making process.
Exactly. It's not a separate, difficult task anymore. It's just what I do while making coffee.
That's a perfect example of building a system. And that's really what we're talking about, right? Discipline loves structure. It thrives on clear boundaries.
I think scheduling is so important. It's not about having a vague intention like, I'll practice English sometime this week.
No, that's a recipe for failure.
It is. It has to be in your calendar. Tuesday at 6 p.m. English practice. It becomes a real appointment, a real commitment.
And that removes the decision-making. You don't have to waste mental energy every day deciding if you're going to practice or when. The decision is already made.
So that's the structure. But what about the environment? You mentioned that. I've heard about this idea of an if-then plan. Can you explain that a little?
Yeah, absolutely. It's called an implementation intention. And it's basically taking scheduling one step further. So you're not just planning the when, you're planning the how and where.
Okay, so it's more specific.
Much more specific. Instead of just, I'll practice at 6, it's, if it is 6 p.m., then I will sit at my desk, open my notebook, and listen to one podcast episode. You're giving your brain a very clear, simple script to follow.
So you're creating a trigger for the action.
Precisely. And by preparing the environment, like having your notebook already on your desk, you reduce that friction we talked about. You make it easy to succeed. Can you think of a time when your environment completely, ruined your discipline and you had to change it?
Oh, yes. My phone. It was my biggest enemy for a long time. I would decide to read an English article, but I'd have my phone next to me.
I know this story.
And the moment I hit a difficult word or a complex sentence, my brain would just crave something easy, and I'd pick up the phone without even thinking. 10 minutes later, I'm scrolling social media and haven't read anything.
It's the path of least resistance. Our brains are wired for it.
So I had to make a new rule, a small system. When it's reading time, the phone goes in another room, period.
Good at work.
It worked immediately. Just removing the distraction from my environment removed the need for willpower. The easiest thing to do became, reading the article. I designed my environment to support my goal.
That is such a perfect illustration of the whole concept. It's not about being mentally stronger. It's about being smarter with your systems.
Exactly.
And this approach is it's perfect for English practice because language learning is cumulative. It's built brick by brick, day by day.
It really is.
You have to remember that 10 minutes every single day for a year is so much better than trying to study for 10 hours one weekend.
So much better. The brain needs that consistent, repeated exposure to really make those connections stick.
It does. I had a friend who wanted to improve her listening.
Yeah.
So she made a very small, simple rule. Every day while she was washing the dishes, she would listen to one 5-minute English podcast. No more, no less.
Okay, that's a great habit stack.
It was. And for the first few months, she felt like she wasn't making any progress. It felt too small, too slow. But she was disciplined. She stuck with it.
And what happened?
After about a year, she went on a trip. And she told me she was shocked that she could understand conversations around her, the announcements at the airport. Everything just started to click. That slow, steady progress paid off in a huge way.
Wow. That's an amazing story. It's
Right.
proof that consistency is the real metric of success, not, the amount you do in one day.
It really is. So, based on all this, what do you think is the smallest, most powerful daily habit someone could start today to make that shift from motivation to discipline?
That's a good one. I think it has to be something that involves active output, not just passive listening.
Ooh, I like that.
So my suggestion would be the 1-minute shadowing rule.
Tell me more.
Every day, you find a short 60-second audio clip of a native speaker. You listen to it a couple of times, and then you just try to repeat what they're saying, copying the rhythm and the intonation as best you can.
So you're shattering them.
Exactly. The whole thing takes maybe 5 minutes. It's so short, there's no excuse to skip it.
Hmm.
But it forces you to actively use the language,
Yeah.
which is where real learning happens.
That is a fantastic, actionable tip. It's a perfect minimum viable action. Okay, so this brings us to the final, and maybe most surprising point. The idea that discipline actually creates freedom.
I know it sounds like a contradiction, doesn't it? Discipline sounds so restrictive, like a prison.
It does. But how can being rigid actually make you more free?
I think it gives you freedom from decision fatigue. That's the key.
Yes.
You're no longer wasting all this mental energy every single day arguing with yourself. Should I practice? When should I do it? What should I study? When you have a system, a discipline, that decision is already made.
It's outsourced to the system.
Right. And all that energy you save can be used for, well, for actually learning or just for relaxing and enjoying your life. The routine liberates you from the constant internal debate.
That is so true. And there's another freedom it creates, the pride that comes from consistency. It actually becomes a new, better source of motivation.
An internal source, not an external one.
Exactly. You start to trust yourself. You build this belief that you are someone who does what they say they are going to do. And that feeling of self-efficacy is incredibly powerful.
It really is. And that disciplined effort eventually leads to that aha moment we all want. You're watching a movie and suddenly you understand everything. Or you have a conversation without thinking about grammar. What do you find is the biggest internal reward from maintaining a challenging habit?
For me, it's that feeling of surprise progress. It's the moment where you realize how far you've come, and you know it wasn't because of luck. It was because you showed up on all those boring days when you didn't want to. That's a feeling of accomplishment that no one can ever take away from you.
Absolutely. So a final word of encouragement for everyone listening would be, don't feel bad or guilty when you don't feel motivated.
Please don't.
Motivation is a bonus. It's a nice surprise, but it's not a requirement for success. Focus all your energy on building those small, tiny, unbreakable habits. Even a bad day of practice, just 1 minute of listening, is a huge win for discipline.
A win is a win. The goal is to just keep the chain going.
Keep the chain going.
Actually, before we wrap up, I have one really quick tip related to that, to tracking your progress.
Oh, yeah.
I really recommend using a simple calendar or even just a piece of paper. And every day you complete your tiny habit, you draw a big, satisfying X on that day.
Oh, I love that. The visual feedback.
Yes. Seeing that chain of X's grow gets really motivating in itself. You create this positive pressure where you don't want to break the chain. It turns it into a fun little game.
That's a great, simple trick. And on that note, what if you do break the chain? Because, life happens.
It does.
My quick rule for that is simple. Never miss twice.
I like that.
If you miss one day, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. But your entire focus for the next day is just getting back on track. Don't let one missed day become 2, and then a week, and then you've quit. The discipline is in starting again.
Start again immediately. Great advice.
We really hope this conversation was helpful. We would love to hear from you. Please take a moment to comment below and tell us about a habit you've successfully built using discipline, or maybe what you find is the hardest part about staying consistent with your English practice.
Exactly. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us today. Remember that consistency is key, so keep listening to English every day and speaking as often as you can.
We will definitely be back soon with more episodes and more casual conversations to help you along your language journey. And please don't forget to like this episode, subscribe to the channel, and share if you found this English conversation useful.
It was great chatting. Goodbye, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Goodbye, everyone, and goodbye. Talk to you next time.
Bye.